Hey, Steve Zelnard here with Remax Experts, Zelnard Associates. Happy Monday morning and happy long weekend. Just a real quick update on the market. Current inventory right now, we actually went down in inventory. We've been reporting 2 weeks straight on 16,000 units per week. Now we've actually pulled back to 15,761 units, which is great, with 851 selling. This is what I was trying to tell clients right now is like, or even my team back in Toronto, is that let's gather as many listings as we can possible right now while everyone's sort of like vacationing, taking a break, have them on the market, because when everyone starts to come back to reality where, they're getting ready for kids to go back to school, then ultimately, that real thing's happening where they may need to move and upgrade their home. This weekend actually worked for us. So we did one deal over the weekend, we firmed up another one, and then we got an offer on another property that was lingering for, we sold it twice in the past. They just fell through in financing in both deals, but it was just a very long lag period before we got another offer. And then we got one over the weekend, and now Mike's negotiating that with the buyer's agent currently. So hopefully we can get to some sort of conclusion today, and then we can firm up that deal. But what we noticed too with our listings, I'll just kind of scroll through what we got, our current inventory. So we're carrying 11 listings. It was a mixed bag of showings, because we have a listing right now of just 3.3 million, and we had about 6 showings between, let's say, Thursday and all the way to Sunday, and then there's 2 more for this week. So that's a $3.3 million listing, and we're getting like 6 showings, which is great. Then we have another listing that we reduced the price substantially, but I think this was the original price we wanted to go in early on before anything else kind of pushed us out with price. Because what happens is we went aggressive on price based on what was currently on the market. Yeah, we could have gone aggressive, but what happens is another property comes on the market down the street, sells their home for a fraction of what we're listed for, and puts pressure on us. So obviously buyers are just kind of not coming anymore, because it's like we're way overpriced regarding the property that we're currently offering. So we had to adjust that price pretty aggressively. We came down to about 150,000, and now we're getting showing after showing. Actually, as you just heard, now that's another showing that just got booked on it. Even my investment property, that was very stagnant for a while. We're starting to get some action on that over the week. So it was pretty good. We had a very busy weekend. Doing deals and also showings on our current listings right now, which is great news. Hopefully now we can still kind of hold on to these listings, and then as time progresses into August, then we're going to start getting more activity and we'll start selling them off. Because if this inventory keeps dropping while everyone's sort of on vacation and no one's putting up new listings in August, we're going to have a good opportunity for clients. Stay strong, hold, be confident, keep your house on the market, and then ultimately we'll start seeing offers coming in, just like we just saw on the weekend, where it was like no activity, no action, no offers, and then bang, we start, market starts exploding, we start unloading properties, which is great. That's pretty much it for currently what's happening on the canary in a mine shaft type information. This is kind of interesting. It says Canada, this is another article here written. It says Canada's economy lags on standard of living metrics, the TD Economics mentioned here. So basically our GDP per capita is basically pulled back if you kind of look at it at a grand scale. So this is 44,900 US dollars. So basically so what they do is they basically divide the GDP, the gross domestic product, by the amount of the population. So we're 35 million. Obviously this is 340 million, and I think this is Singapore. I'm not sure what Singapore is exactly, but China clearly is 1.4 billion. But what they do is they divide it, the GDP to the population. So this is how they get their numbers. So if you see Switzerland's a very low population, they have a high output of GDP rather. So every citizen produces $88,000 worth of goods per year, which is amazing. That's huge, but obviously a very small population, very tight country Switzerland is. And then you get into Canada, we're at $44,910 dollars per person. So that's what they're mentioning here in this article, that our GDP is lagging in the world right now currently. And it's just a whole bag of worms, right? Right now currently we stopped a lot with the oil. We had that pipeline that was going to go through, and we were going to sell oil off into the States, which would have been great. That would have brought up, like Calgary, Alberta, all that, and would have brought in a lot of money in for the country. But they shut that down, both sides of the border, the Democrats and the Liberals. And that's unfortunate because we have a lot of resources here we can use, we can sell, we can make money, we can kind of push the country forward, but they're not utilizing it. I know there's a lot of environmentalists saying that's going to be a bad thing on the environment, but ultimately, electric power is not the cure either. Like battery powered vehicles, it's not, because if you kind of look at the back end of it, if you really look into the guts of it, mining all that lithium, it's a disaster on the on the environment. Cobalt, it's, if you kind of looked into it, we've listened to multiple podcasts and also authors that wrote books on it. It's basically slave labor that's actually providing the cobalt, and that's in Uganda. So basically, a slave camp that's getting cobalt that's in any lithium battery. That's basically a slave touched this at some point. So we can't just point our finger and say oil is bad and it's creating carbon, and then we got to pretend that batteries is the key, because it's not. They say actually nuclear power, even though it sounds scary in a sentence, but it's the best and cleanest energy we can use. So and that's an issue too, because what we're doing now, especially in Canada, is overpopulating the country, but not producing anything. So it's almost like you got a whole new bag of voting people coming in, people to vote. They're buying up resources and with real estate, and that's pretty much it. But we're not producing anything. This is why we have a lag in GDP right now. Another thing to keep note of, I think I always kind of go back to this, that I mean, this is always a scary thing. We're number 2 in the world right now, like basically household debt per income. So every dollar you spend, you're spending $1.80. That's huge, and that's always based on, because the mortgage year amount that you're carrying. And the States was about it was always $1 even. It's not on this list, I don't know why, but it's usually $1 even. So every dollar you make, $1 you spend. So you have a better opportunity to kind of pay your house off in cash, have less debt here in America rather than Canada, just based on these numbers here that the trading economics produced. There was one more article I was looking at. Oh, I mean, so again, like our current government, Justin Trudeau is shifting some of the blame for eye-popping housing costs in Canada. This is a big issue that we always go back to when the province of Ontario, McGuinty, that was our Liberal government at the time, basically shut down the Greenbelt area. So what happens is everything got more pricier, land got more pricier, housing got more pricier, and who got affected by that is the end user, people like us. The builders still made more money because they bought the land at more of a cost, but they just put it back into the end user. This is why our debt level, household debt level, just went through the roof. That's based on their tightening up the Greenbelt at that point. So I mean, it's a long problem. I remember being in construction. It was, I think, 2002 or 2000, something around there, when this all came to fruition, when they started shutting down. Maybe even later, maybe '05. I forgot the actual year. But it was, I remember they were going to tighten up the Greenbelt. And I remember Conjuring at the time, they had it was in Richmond Hill, the Jefferson Project, I think it was called. And they had massive amount of lands that they were starting to, or they owned, and they were going to put into production for sale. And then McGuinty kind of put in this basically outline what's going to be, what's going to transition from buildable into non-buildable under the Greenbelt law. So what TAC did and Conjuring is they basically hired everybody under the sun. They ran all their machines to this site. I don't know how many acres it was. It was quite large, 600 acres or something like that. They ran every earth-moving machine to this one site. I remember seeing it. It looked like a military of these earth-moving machines, and they had maybe like 40, 50, 60 of these machines just tearing up all the land, making sure that it's unusable and that's not going to be able to be allocated into the Greenbelt. And obviously, if you're a builder and you spend all this money on land, and now that all of a sudden they're going to just pull the plug on it, it's very scary, especially if you get a lot of money out. This is what we saw now with Doug Ford. He's opening up the Greenbelt, and is there cahoots with other builders to open it up? Yeah, of course there is. It's a money game. People get into politics to make money. They're not there to save the world or earn their income. They make more money in the private world. So yeah, sure, there's going to be some sort of side deals going on. But at the same time, for us as the public, if you can open up vast amounts of land and you can start building, you can overpopulate housing, rather, like put more units on the market, it's going to bring the prices down for us. So sure, there's going to be some sort of side deals, but that's everything in life, you know. It doesn't matter where you are. If you get training a dog, you're going to do a side deal, you know. It's always one of those things. So as long as it's for the greater good of the way we live, why not let it get done? I mean, it's going to get done anyway. Might as well make sure it's going to benefit us as the end users. But that's pretty much it, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.